All right, welcome back to Roundtail Restoration, everybody. I'm Chris, and today we're going to install custom-made battery cables. All right. So one of the last things here to do, I would consider it a touch-up or a finishing touch kind of thing here, is to replace the battery cables. I got these cheapo 4-gauge battery cables from Walmart, as embarrassing as that is to say. So I've got obviously the positive and negative of that, and then there's a cable that goes from the starter solenoid down to the starter, and then the braided ground cable, which you can just barely kind of see in there. You got that guy there too. That is original, and that's starting to fray a little bit, not in great shape. So what I got here is this guy here is going to be the ground cable, and then my positive battery lead, the starter solenoid to starter itself lead, and then the negative ground cable. I've got some grommets here for the covers of the ends, and then the covers for the battery terminals themselves. Picked these all up at CE Auto Electric Supply. There's your the business card there. Place out of Arizona. So there's a pretty slick website. You go online, and they have a web app kind of that will allow you to make the cable as you go, and you can specify the ends and the angle that the ends are put on and all sorts of different things, and then it gives you a picture. There's probably, I don't know, a dozen or so. I'll put up a link in the description, and very easy to do, very helpful. I did reach out to them at one point, and this gentleman right here, Tony, I assume he's the owner, he's the guy that got back to me and followed up with me within 24 hours and followed up again when I didn't answer right away. So very attentive customer service. Real high quality stuff. You can see how flexible that line is, the cable is. This is 4-gauge, and it's 1,862 strands. So it's pretty nice stuff. Very flexible. So for the starter solenoid to starter, I've got a 5/16 pad eye here, or eyelet here, to a 1/4 inch. That's the one that goes on the starter. And these are shrink tubing on there, pretty thick shrink tubing, nice big thick eyelets you can see there. And then for the negative battery cable, obviously you've got the negative, and then a 1/4 inch pad eye on that, or eyelet on that. Essentially the same thing going down with the positive, except this is positive, you get red everywhere. And then a 5/16 because that's what goes to the starter solenoid. And then finally the ground cable, 5/16 where it goes to the transmission, and then, or on the bell housing of the transmission, and then a 1/4 inch where it's going to the ground screw underneath the ignition coil. And then all the eyelet covers here. These are a little bit bigger than I thought they would be. There was a choice in size, and I presume I probably should have gone a size smaller, but they fit over the wire, but I'm afraid they're just going to be way too big for the car. And the little pads for the cables on or the terminals on the battery itself. So all in all, with shipping from Arizona, I think I ordered it and I got it within a week easily. They had shipped it, I think, the next day after I ordered it, and I had it by the end of the week. All that they ship United States Postal Service, and you pay for whatever it actually costs them to ship. There's no canned shipping charges or anything like that. But all those cables, it's and the grommets and everything else was just shy of $100, so like $96, $98 or something like that. And again, real nice, high quality, very flexible cable. So it's definitely so far is worth it. So now we're going to go ahead, take up all the old cables, get all them off of there, and then put the new ones on. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a real great lighting solution here yet, but essentially, got your two cables, negative, and the negative ties in back here. There's just a little mounting you'll see when I go in there to take it off. I'll do that one first. And the positive comes all the way over here to the starter solenoid, which is off camera, and then everything else is pretty much over here. So I'll go ahead and get the negative cable off of there, get that put on, and then we'll start with the positive from that side and route it across. And in case you're wondering why I have these cheesy moving blankets on here, I did order a car cover finally, and it's on its way from California Custom Covers. So they had to actually manufacture it, as you would suspect. They don't have the Triumph ones in stock. All right, so one thing I will point out, as you can see here, that the cable has a tendency to lay a certain way, and you can custom the direction that these eyelets are in, so you can have it mounted like this or 90 degrees either way or 180 degrees out. Now the negative cable, I didn't have to do anything to specify that, but one of them I did. The positive battery lead I did. Got the negative terminal boot here. Go ahead and fish that through the eyelet end, so that'll cover that like that. And there's all sorts of different covers if you need if you have like a front mounted or a screw post, or they have all that stuff. All right, and then we'll see. There's the cover for this. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this or not. Yeah, I guess I can use that. So that's how how that fits. You can see it is kind of big and clunky for the car, but I'll go ahead and use it. All right, fish that back a little bit to get it out of the way. Now I got to loosen up that grommet a little bit, tightening it down too much. It's not letting me get it over. Again, apologize for the lighting, and now you really can't see very well either. All right, so there's the negative. Now we'll move on to the positive. So my intention with the positive battery cable here is to kind of go back behind everything and route it to this top terminal. So we'll see. Hopefully I got enough length to do that. Looks like I should. So something like that. And then we'll try this boot on here. I don't think this boot is going to work, unfortunately. I think it's going to be too big. Yeah, no, that might work. We'll put it on there. This cable below that there, that's what goes down to the starter. So I'm going to pull that off real quick and get the starter cable over here and kind of do them both at the same time to see if the boots are going to work on there or not. Again, they do make smaller ones, I believe. I have to double check my order. But I would recommend the smaller ones in this case. That works. I'm happy with the look of that. So now the battery cable runs back underneath and behind the heater and all the way to the battery there, and hopefully I have enough room. And I don't. That's a bummer. All right, well, there's a little cutout under here that I think is off camera, and I was hoping to kind of fish it down and through that, but I was off, looks like a good 2 inches on my measurement. Obviously, these are custom cables. You can't say, hey, I measured wrong. Can you take them back? So I'll have to come back through this here. Now, unfortunately, the battery terminal I don't think is going to fit through there. Oh, it does. Got lucky. So now instead we'll just come on top like this. Not quite as clean as I was hoping, but then again, I'm not trying to make like hidden cables or anything. So lesson learned there. I think this cable I ordered was 27 inches, so 29 or 30 would have been better. And also, these need to go on first, and I didn't do that. So I gotta take this cable off, reroute it. All right, positive one is in. Routes back behind against the firewall and over to the positive terminal. So that one's down. Now we'll pull the starter out, and you can't really see down there, but there's a starter down there. And then this braided ground cable will be the last one. Alright, so there's the original braided ground strap. They didn't sell just the braids. You can get eyelets like that on an angle if you want to, but I just got straight ones. 1/4 inch up here on the screw. That guy 1/4 inch on the screw, but then a 5/16 down for where it connects to the transmission. Alright, got the grounding strap in. Not real crazy. I had to use flat washers to stand it off. There's a little bit of a lip on the bracket here. Maybe, future me, I'll cut that out or something. Also wasn't real crazy. I know that's kind of hard to see down there, but I had to also use washers to space off the transmission. So maybe if I had gotten the angled eyelets that came out at 90 degrees or something like that, it probably would have helped that. So maybe the answer here is to just get a different cable with the angle eyelets now that I kind of know that a little bit better. But lesson learned there. So now we'll go ahead and we'll finish up the starter cable, which is going to go from obviously the starter solenoid down to the starter way down there, a little 1/4 inch nut. That should be quick. So this is the original solenoid to starter cable, and you can see how hard that is to bend. So granted, the thing is, 60 years, pushing 60 years old, but it's not. It'll be nice to have a nice flexible cable down there. All right, so not too bad. Got that the starter cable on with the grommet on there. The ground cable, I will make it a note that the ground cable I did route behind. This bar right here is for the accelerator, so when you press the gas, it goes like that. So I did route that behind that just so it minimized any interference. So everything's connected. I don't have the battery terminals connected because I'm not going to drive the car, but that went pretty well, and really I'm real happy with the way that it all looks, and I'm very happy with the quality of the stuff. Like I said, I may revisit that ground strap with either a different cable, the eyelets, or something there. We'll see. We'll see if I change my mind on that. But otherwise, it's all good. So one thing I do want to check here is just continuity from the firewall, the firewall here to somewhere on the motor, just to make sure that that ground cable is actually making ground. You just simply go from any electrical point on the firewall to any electrical point on the motor that's not the gas cap or the oil cap, and it sounds good. All right, so that's good. So that way I know that now I've got continuity from the firewall and the rest of the electrical system to the motor, and I'm not going to have any problems. All right, everybody, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Very happy with the quality of parts from CE Auto Electric Supply Company, again, out of Arizona. I would recommend them for ease of the website use, being able to see the custom cable that you are making as you make it virtually, and all of the different options that you can have. They got a whole bunch of stuff on there, relays, kits for second batteries, and there's a lot more stuff than just straight up simple. This is minor league stuff for them, looking at their website and all the different things that they have. So if you're in the market for some of this stuff, check them out. I think the prices are very reasonable compared to other places that I found, and definitely much more reasonable and a little more peace of mind than if I had made these cables myself. So that's all I got. Thanks again for watching. Be safe. Cheers.